Let it flow through you. Let the energy fill the room. Well, you know just what to do. Let it flow through you.
Welcome to the 21st episode of The Mental Breakdown. My next guest, a fellow expat living abroad, and Randy, he is we knew each other a little bit, not actually that well in Sacramento, but we hung out on several occasions through mutual friends. Chris Adams, who's also going to join me soon one-on-one. He's been on a podcast. The main thing here is that what I'm doing here with the podcast, and he actually has a lot of experience doing podcasting. He talks about that. He talks about how he ended up living in Mexico. And we talk about a lot of positive things. We do talk about some of the craziness that's going on and how there are a lot of things to be negative and pessimistic about. And he's naturally cynical, as he says, but at the same time, there's something within just humanity, the human connection. The more we talk, the more we get face-to-face time, the more. Well, see, I'm doing this after our podcast. Right now, I feel good. I feel good after having sitting down and just talk to somebody for a couple hours. It's hard to do that in social media. It's always quick text and this and that, just to sit down and have a conversation. It's beautiful. It might not be valuable for you to sit down and listen to the whole thing. It might be. Either way, here it is. Enjoy. Hey.
Hey, let me check my lighting. I didn't get to check my lighting.
Okay. Wow.
Guess that makes it better.
Yeah. Good, Randy. Wow. Yeah, this is good. I'm glad you're up for this. This will be fun. And
yeah. How do I sound?
Sounds good. Sound good.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean I know you from Chris Adams. I think crossed paths a couple times, did some fun little events and stuff here and there. But I think what's interesting is we have a lot of similarities in our kind of life journey. So I'll have a lot of questions. Probably this is definitely just tangents or completely acceptable. So
oh yeah,
let's
how a natural conversation goes.
Basically, yeah. And then what I really want to do here is kind of have some. I mean, I'm still kind of there's so many different areas. I want to talk to you on, like, just kind of your life path, how you got where you are. It's interesting that we both share this, like, expat, digital nomad or something. And then, and I'm just recently getting into, like, I just joined Twitter. I got suckered into the blue tick, but I didn't know, like, I just started. I didn't even know. Anyway, yeah. And then also, so this podcasting thing, I know you have a lot of, so I want to know about that too. So go ahead and just give me a story starting at what made you think, like, I need to get out of this place. And
basically, I've kind of been awake to, like, the government not telling the truth for a long time. Because back in, I don't know, I had kids in the early 2000s, and I ended up falling back to sleep, as they would say, to raise my family. It's too depressing to think about all the nastiness in the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And COVID kind of woke me back up because it was affecting everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm stuck at work I'm working at a warehouse, making a wage slave. I'm a wage slave for, the man or whatever. And COVID happened. We were living in California, in Northern California, Sacramento at the time, and everything's locked down. We couldn't go to work. My wife actually was able to start working from home, which was good. It kept food on the table. And then once the two-week lockdown ended, I went back to work. And where I worked was like a sports apparel company. And we did a lot of sports apparel for high schools, like all around the country. So we did all their uniforms for all the different teams. And since COVID happened, sports aren't being played, schools are closed. So we're basically dead in the water. Luckily, they're like a family-owned business. They took care of their employees. They made sure we all worked, even though we had no work. So we're basically, there was days where I'm just with a toothbrush and I'm just scrubbing the same thing over and over all day. It's clean.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
So it was becoming really, really hard to care, honestly, but we needed to pay the bills and prices are rising. We're watching everybody getting kicked out of their homes because they're not working. Homeless around our area it was getting crazy. So we lived off of Watt Avenue, Antelope. I know where where that is.
And
so one day I'm at work and they're forcing us to wear the face mask, and I had one of those neck gaiters that go around your whole head. And basically I would wear it underneath my chin when people weren't around. Out of respect, I would cover it because people were freaking out. I didn't believe, I know they're not stopping anything. I've worked in construction. I know what respirators and face masks do. And so I would wear it over my ears so I could have an earbud in, and I would listen to podcasts. And for a long time I was in I would love listening to like NFL sports based podcasts. I would distract myself with that. Well, while I'm at work, that got tired to me. That felt disingenuous for the moment. The world's going crazy. People don't know what's going on. And I wanted to inform myself from as many point of views as possible, and really away from what the mainstream was saying, because I just never trusted them. And so I found a bunch of voices that I liked, and a lot of them were being censored and they were being crushed by the algorithms and whatnot. And they're begging for people to support. Hey, we're telling people that we're trying to help people. We're trying to stop them from, just doing what the authority says without thinking. Think first, question everything, and that really motivated me. I was like, how hard would it to be to help these people promote their show, so like on my lunch breaks, we worked actually right across the street from one of those drive-through vaccination stations. And because I worked like on an old Air Force base, which was all industrial, big parking lot. So we had big parking lot out there and vaccination station all day long for months, every day, people going in there getting vaccinated. And like on my lunch break, I would sit there and watch them, and it was really demoralizing to me.
It seems like some sort of cattle, something, or just, I mean,
and there was a few times I was mean spirited and I was baying like a sheep, as I'm driving by, or I'm trying to like, go, stop, but eventually I'm like, hey, everybody's going to do their own thing. They're going to make their own decision. I can't really do anything about it. But so I started making clips on my lunch break, audio clips, because that's, I couldn't do video at the time, and I'm doing it on my phone. And so I started doing that, and I got the attention of a stand-up comedian that actually Chris Adams turned me on to listen. And his podcast actually kind of gave me the idea, because he was basically like, hey, everybody's going to have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Things are going to get hard.
Sam Tripoli.
Tripoli.
Tripoli. Okay. Oh, Chris Adams is actually the one that turned you on to him. I think he sent me stuff a long time ago. And then I've seen some of that stuff you make. So you were just doing it just to get the
help.
word out, and he noticed you were doing good stuff.
Yeah, he noticed it, and he basically DM'd me. He's like, "Hey, how much do you want to make some clips for my show?" And I had no idea what to say, so we agreed to a price. And at the time, I'm like, "Oh, wow, you can make money doing this? Okay, well, that gave me the idea. Okay, well, if I could do it for him, I could do it for others."
Yeah.
So that's started me down this road, and then soon after, we made the decision to move out of California. And we were trying to decide on whether we're going to go to Florida or Texas. And, you know, my wife's always wanted to be by the beach. You can't live on the beach in California. It's way too expensive.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we're thinking about those places. And we were watching the show, A Mexico Life. It's like from the Home and Garden Network or whatever. And it's basically people go to Mexico, you know, they're usually richer, so they're buying property, but they're looking at places to buy. And it takes you all around Mexico, and you see really cool places. And we started thinking, well, maybe we can, you know, we'll stay in Texas, and then we'll travel to Mexico. And then once my son becomes, you know, he gets old enough and he can move out on his own, we'll go to Mexico ourselves. Well, looking at all the prices in America, it was like, okay, well, if I want to try to get this clipping thing going, I need to do it full time. I can't be working a warehouse job, honestly. And you know, so but we were gonna have to do that if we stayed in America. Well, so one day we went to the beach. It was still, they were locked down. We weren't allowed to go, but we took a road trip. We needed to get out of the house. We went and we hung out on the beach there was nobody there.
California,
ourselves. We're like, huh?
You're in California still.
Yeah, we were in California, and it was still that, you know, there was helicopters saying, "Get off the beach."
Really, that's funny because I mean, I heard about stuff, so that stuff's real. I mean, it's so hard being out here. You know, I mean, it's been, you know, over decades since I've been back, or I went back one time. It's like, and I see stuff sometimes. I think, well, obviously, what I see on, it's like I don't know what's real. So it's really, and that there's really helicopters telling people to get off, and patrol people like telling you to get off. I mean, it was literally illegal to be there, or
it was like against the rules, or what. I don't know if it was illegal, because I think it was illegal what they were doing, but
I mean, they give you a fine or something, or
they would fine you. Luckily, we didn't get fined. But we were like the only ones. You know, we made sure we were kind of out of sight. We saw one other guy jogging on the beach. You know, an older fella, and he had a mask on. He's all by himself, jogging on the beach, getting his exercise. You know, a helicopter going by. Get off the beach.
Yeah,
it was weird. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go to Mexico now, because I feel like, you know, they're gonna lock America down. We're not gonna be able to leave, even if we wanted to. You know, who knows how long this is gonna last? You know, so even if we made a home base in Texas, we're not gonna be able to travel out. So we said, fuck it. We've, you know, 7 suitcases and a plane trip later, and we're here in Mexico, you know, basically sight unseen.
So you had never been to where in Mexico? Because
we're in like the Cancun area.
Okay.
So like the real touristy Caribbean.
Yeah. So it's still cheaper than anywhere in Texas. Or Florida?
It's definitely cheaper than California, but it's more expensive than like most of Mexico.
But like,
you know, and it's getting worse. Like with the dollar falling the way it is, there's a transfer, you know, when you gotta pay in pesos and you got an American bank account, you know, they transfer the money. With the dollar dropping, the value of the pesos dropping too, you know, this paying the same, but the dollar's dropping. So we're paying like $140 more in rent than normal. You know? So
I mean, that can go, it can. Those things. It's always weird that the way the money works. Sometimes it works counter, intuitively though, because it was when inflation was going up, the dollar, well, at least to the Thai baht, the dollar was like really strong. Actually, the dollar is really strong right now in comparison to the Thai baht,
which is weird.
It's weird that inflate. It never really makes sense. But now I don't even make dollar doesn't really matter to me. I don't have an American bank account, and I have I teach students with the Chinese students, and they're paying me, but it's still so weird. Even though they're, in order to get money to my bank account, it's still through the SWIFT system, which is the U.S. banking system. It's still going through there.
Through
like
all
they're
that.
Still getting their cut and stuff. So
Their
I'm
cut,
still
of course.
losing money in it and stuff. But so your son's there too then? How old's your son?
He's 17 now.
17,
And
okay,
he'll be
and
18 in May.
What are his plans? I mean,
He wants to go back to California.
Okay. And
I don't know how he's going to be able to do that by himself. You know, I can barely do it by myself with my kids, and we were living in the mountains in California where it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, but then when I got with my wife, we went back to Sacramento, and you know, because we could afford it with her salary, and yeah, I just don't know how he's going to be able to do it by himself. But he wants to be a trucker, which I think would be great for him because he's not very sociable all that much, you know, and I think that would be a good job for him. He'll make good money. But you got to get set up to do that.
It's a good
podcast
get a license job too, right? I mean, good.
Right. Well, yeah, I've even said, hey, man, help me like edit some videos or whatever, you know. If I start making money, you make money.
Yeah.
He's just not interested. You know how it is. You got to find your own way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know, if you can, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We're worried about it. We're trying to get him set up as best as possible, you know, as far as, you know, trying to learn how to navigate through society, you know.
Yeah. So what, I mean, he's finishing school or doing something.
But like, so he did like, we had him in the Khan Academy the last couple of years. So the thing is like, we lived up in the mountains. I took care of my grandma before she passed. So we were up there for about 8 years, and it was a town of like less than 300 people. Everybody knew everybody, you know, all the kids played together. You didn't really have to, you know, they could be outside, you know, be kids. And
even
it was
during
great. This is pre-COVID.
Okay, pre-COVID. Yeah, I mean, do you think
so
even
this
during
is like
COVID?
2012 to 2019 or so.
Okay.
And yeah, and we moved to Sacramento, back down to Sacramento just in time for COVID to hit, basically. So we got him into a new school. So he just started there. He was just getting his bearings and making friends, and then it was no school. Now you're doing school at home, you know. And so he never really got to put down roots.
Yeah.
You know, to have that for the friends that you roommate with, you know.
Yeah.
Like I did. That's how I was able to get out of my mom's house. It was, me and my buddies got together and we got a place.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we could afford it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can't imagine. Yeah. What? Yeah. What is his plan? Does he?
I know, because I'm like, well, he's got like cousins, but you know, they got their own thing going on. You know, they're all the similar age, but they're all doing their own thing. So it's like, I don't know where you know, where you jump in there.
Yeah. And
we'll see.
I mean, yeah. It seems like, Mixo would be cool. I mean, it seems I think that's so, it just sounds so much, it sounds so much more exciting, really, to kind of, you know, living in different countries and stuff. But yeah, like you said, I mean,
everyone's different. Yeah, I'm sure if he was older and more less socially awkward. I don't want to say awkward. I just want to I want to more say like I don't want to say ignorant either, but you know, just not the experience. You know?
Yeah.
Hold on one sec. I got door.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I always no, I didn't. So so you been living there for how long have you been, Mixo, then? You moved there?
We actually been here for 2 years now.
Okay.
2 years in August. So like, right, I think we came like a week ago, 2 years ago. So.
Okay, so at that time, what was it looking like? I mean, I think there's still people wearing masks. I mean, luckily where I live here, I live way out in the cuts in like pretty, like there's no issue really where I live. But if I go into the city, they were kind of, stiflers on masks and stuff, like in a bank or something. I'd have to put it on if I went inside a bank or something, or went inside major superstores that were like a chain or something, like, but like for the most part, the market or something, they wouldn't really be sticklers on it.
Yeah.
So what about in Mexico? You're in an area when
it's
you
real touristy.
They were they mandated?
So yeah, they were masking when we got here. We had to mask up when you go into buildings. And luckily, most places, a lot of restaurants are open air for the most part. So
yeah,
I didn't feel like there were sticklers there. But like, if you wanted to go into the grocery store, you had to, and then you had to take your temperature.
Oh,
so you had to like scan your wrist on a thing to take your temperature, and then and you're wearing your mask and you get to go in. Well, and they also have these like disinfectant pads on the ground that are like had like chemicals in it, and you had to run your shoes across them. Yeah. Which I only saw that, like, we went to Hawaii for my wife's daughter's wedding, like in May 2021. So right before we moved out here, and they had stuff like that. And I thought it was insane. I was like, what is this?
We actually did that in wrestling. I remember we got it one time because we'd wear our wrestling shoes, and then sometimes we'd run outside. They always wanted us to walk on that before we step back on the mat or something. It sounds like that's what it was. And yeah, they basically put like bleach on it or something. But
right,
it's so funny about those things. I swear I would get, like, there's all kinds of little like things you can get from like wrestling mats and stuff, ringworm and vitiligo, all these. But I swear the more bleach and stuff they put on it, the more things that people would pop up. It's like, I don't know, that they're breeding a strain of
that's what they're it's like super strain.
It's basically it's just
it wants to live too.
And they're gonna make the strongest strain.
All we're doing is making them stronger.
So that's us. I mean, that stuff's what's cool. What I really like about Thailand is like it's weird. Like if you look at it from a political standpoint, it's like a constitutional monarchy that was overthrown by a military coup, and just recently instated a prime minister. But then it's weird. Then they put somebody else. It's like they do. But like, so there is like a government system, but then what's cool is that it's kind of just, it's real localized. If you're outside of Bangkok, Bangkok is centralized power. Everyone just kind of does like, it's real community, like.
So they do what works locally.
Exactly.
Basically, they don't. It's not so. Like the federal government's not in everybody's business.
Exactly. And that's what's so
like
funny.
The states.
Because you have all these terms like monarchy, which is like totally sounds like a top down, and there is military coup, which people, I remember when it happened, people were like, oh my God, you're in Thailand, are you okay? And it's funny that there are all these terms that sounds like a scary place to be, like, but that's, it's so
sounds very unstable.
It sounds so unstable, but then like on the ground it's so much more. There's no just this oversight, and it's so crazy. And then I also compare it to like China, because all my students that I talked to, and I was talking to them right when like they were doing all the weird, they were like locking down hard before it even got to America, and I was telling people like, this is real. Like I could tell this is spreading. This is whatever's going on this is not. And they're like, no, it's not gonna. Oh, this America. I'm like, dude, there's no way it's not. This thing's spreading. I could just see it. I remember that first, my first student that told me. At first, I was just like, that's really weird. And then I saw it growing and saw what was going down. And the weird thing is though, and that's what's so weird. So yeah, you look at China, like communism and like, you know, totally you think, oh, that's how they're gonna do it there. But then it was so crazy to see like America kind
everywhere
of
else.
the same
Yeah, I was scared there for a while. You know, I was telling my family, you need to get out of California too, because I can just see them, you know, keeping the lockdown going, and people getting fed up at some point. And then once the people get fed up, that's when they come in with the jackboots and, you know, martial law and all that, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, they're gonna lock everybody into the and not let anybody out. I mean, of course they're gonna let the immigration in because that's all part of the trying to destroy the culture from within, you know. And they're already talking about, oh, we're gonna hire illegal immigrants to be the police, you know, in the police. Well, yeah, they definitely want they want that. They want people from other places to come in and police you in your place because they don't have any attachment to that place. They don't have an attachment to the people, you know. So like when things were getting crazy with the trucker convoy, there's all those reports of like the UN, the blue helmets are showing up in Canada. You know, they have all their vehicles and so like they're waiting. They were just waiting for people to rise up so they can try to squash it, you know, with people from out of the country that won't care.
Yeah, wow,
like, I don't care about Canadians. You know?
Yeah. So by blue helmet, you're talking about like a SWAT force, or I mean,
no, well, that's what they are. You know, the UN, they wear those like light blue helmets, like their force, their army or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Oh wow.
So we just call them the blue helmets.
Yeah. Okay. See that's well, and see, this is I'm always trying to wrap my head around the one thing I was really impressed with China was, did you hear about the one incident which was like there was a fire in an apartment complex. I mean the Chinese have a lot higher level of before they snap, basically. I mean, they're gonna follow in line a lot longer than you would expect in America. But everyone has a breaking point.
Because their culture is more
attuned
to that. You
know,
exactly. Thousands of years of, you know, they're so much older
than
the rowdy cowboys that are in the, you know, in the West.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of our culture to go against the grain. I mean, the founded on it. So, but what really impressed me was when there was a fire in an apartment building, but they were getting fed up, but like they're just more quiet about it, and like they try to like communicate, and they'd use like symbols on their WeChat and groups and stuff, and like it was rising, but and then finally there's this fire broke out in an apartment complex, and the firemen couldn't get in time because it was blocked or something.
They welded the doors closed.
Yeah, so and that made like even though there were always lots of little groups that were protesting, but they were able to stomp them down. But that was just like a final straw. It wasn't like came out of nowhere. It was already building up. And then but what China did, the government, they recognized, like they just said, okay, boom, eliminated all mass mandate. I mean, they went from strict lockdowns. I mean, I had my students, they were in there for like 6 months, never left their apartment building. And they live in these like high-rise apartments. Most of my students are in Beijing, Shanghai. You know,
so unnatural.
Oh, so terrible and stuff. But they were just doing it, and they were able to do it and not go crazy. But inside, they are all going crazy. But they're just like keeping it inside and shoving down. So finally, when that went in, they just protesting and outnumbered everyone, and
everybody.
The government realized, like, okay, no mask, no mandates anymore. Just everything up overnight from like the strictest possible. And that's one thing that I don't know if America could do. Just do something that it's like they have to do it in like, okay, like they wouldn't. I don't know if they'd be willing to just admit like, okay, this was we did it. And even China, they didn't admit it was wrong. It's funny, they put it out, oh, according to new scientific
findings. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but
that we've had ready and printed just for this very moment, you know, for you to read and consume and believe.
Yeah. So
I know. Yeah, that reminds me of like with the recent Maui fires and that book coming out 2 days later, you know, like obviously the AI probably did it, wrote it, you know, he put in a prompt and it spit out a book and, you know, and we just watched the movie yesterday and it was like, I think it's called like Vacation Friends, but it was like part 2. And we swore we just watched Vacation Friends, like the first one, like a year ago, and we're like, man, they popped out another one of these so fast. Like, what? I'm like, is it AI written or something? Like, you know, because more and more of that's going to be coming. Like, I just made a clip for one of my clients, Mel K, and she's got years in Hollywood, so she's got experience there. And she's talking to a stunt man who turned into a producer, who turned into a director. So he's been in it for a long time. And he was talking about how, like, yeah, they'll have files of like, oh, the George Clooney file, you know, and oh, they want to put George in the movie. They just click that file and boom, George is in the movie. You know, they have all his voice. They have it, you know, all the digital, you know. And he was talking about, you know, soon, he said probably won't be much longer, but you'll be watching the same movie as your friends, but all the characters will look different. They'll be all based on what you personally like. Yeah. You know, and so if they can make everybody kind of tune into the same thing, but kind of direct it towards you individually, it kind of boxes you in even more and pushes out everybody else, which is what they want. They want to get everybody on their own. They're destroying the family unit. You know, they don't want us coming together. They want us all in our pods, you know, on the metaverse or whatever, buying digital fake crap with our fake money, you know. Yeah. They don't want us being together. Yeah. See, and so this is the I guess this is the thing I'm constantly, and you can tell probably by some of the things that I mean, for instance, like the blue tick thing is like, I'm trying to, I mean, we have to use the system to get out there in order to wake people up. Yeah. So it's like, when I did that, I think I did it for the whole year anyway. So plus the whole reason I came to Twitter was because, my stuff was getting, here's my sweetie little cat. She was going to step on oh, there we go. Hey. I got one in my lap. Hey. Yeah. Okay, I thought you're petting your cat in your lap. I thought you were doing something else. I know. I was about to be like, I have a cat. I swear. I know he's over here chewing on my hand. I'm all like, so like, so there's all these things like I think about, like I do have this goal that I'm gonna just completely go blackout from social media in 18 years, and I just want to literally live off the land. All the money that I make, and I've talked about that's my buying your way out of the system. That's the phrase I've coined is like, I try to use any excess money I have, which I'm able to accrue excess money if, because we own our land now and stuff. I don't have, most of the money I have goes into either making more money, which is my teaching. So I got to make sure I have good equipment. And the other money I try to use is to develop my land in a way that that in the future I won't, it'll be more self-sustaining. Oh, yeah. So how, what kind of, what kind of, how do you do that balance in your life? How are you managing? It's tough. I know. I feel bad. I just answered the door for Amazon. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But you know, my wife loves Amazon, and you know, I hate fighting over money. I hate money. Honestly, I hate money. Yeah. I'm not gonna fight over it. I'm not gonna, you know, I'd rather, you know, happy wife, happy life. You know, she wants her creature comforts. She earned them. She worked for them. So yeah, go for it. But yeah, it's still, it bugs me. I'm like, Amazon, you know, it's part of the problem. I used to work for Amazon. Yeah. Actually, right before I got my other warehouse job. And yeah, you're just a number there. You're, it's good work if you're young, but it's not anything to stick with. You know what I mean? Especially in a warehouse.
Yeah.
But with the blue check marks, like a lot of the blue check marks that I'm upset with are the ones that have been on there for years, telling everybody about what they're gonna do to us. And now those same people are gonna just comply with it so they can get some money out of it. It really tells me, tells me what their true intentions were.
Yeah.
You might want to spread some information, but now you're doing it, to make money, so whatever is going to come through your feed is going to be, approved content, because you're going to self-censor yourself because you want the money. And that's the whole point of it, is to self-censor on top of the already censorship they already have.
So wait, by self-censor, you mean they're not going to say what they mean because of.
If they say something that's not agenda approved, they're going to lose their ability to make that money. They'll get censored, even though, because that's what they say, you get freedom of speech, but you don't get freedom of reach. So they'll kick your reach down. They'll suppress you.
Yeah. That's the reason. That was the reason I got it. And I just got onto Twitter because.
Yeah, you don't know. You didn't know.
Yeah. I thought.
I'm upset at the people that do know.
Yeah. Yeah. So see, I was like, because I feel like, okay, I needed somewhere, and it sucks because like Facebook and stuff, I've got more and those are, real friends. There's also randoms that I don't know on there. Of course, they always end up there, but I've got a lot of real people, but it was like, I can't even talk on this place anymore.
Because your identity is attached to it.
Yeah.
So it's just automatically, oh, this is what Chris David said.
Yeah.
And it goes on to the ledger or whatever the digital ledger they have of you.
Yeah.
And that adds up your social credit score, because I know they have it on everybody. Whoever's on social media, at least, if you're a little more off grid and you're older and you're just watching the TV, they get you that way, but you're not expressing your opinions, and they can get you for that.
What you watch, is a little less. They can still kind of give you a profile probably on what channels you're watching.
Yeah, by what you like watching.
Yeah, when you say stuff, that's why it's like, I seriously, I'm at the point. I mean, I've got a couple things to worry about. Of course, what's crazy here is even I'm married, have a son. I still have to do a visa every year, and then I have to do a 90-day check. So that just tells me I'm not guaranteed to be here. You know what I mean? So
that's what.
But I'm but at the same time, I don't think I ever actually want to leave. I'd be scared to leave Thailand. There were people like me who were, foreigners with Thai families, and they had left on a little holiday, even just a neighboring country, Cambodia or something, and they weren't. And then when they came back in, if it was a man like me, his wife and children could go back in Thailand. He would be left outside. I'm just thinking how is that reasonable on any level to break? And it wouldn't. I mean, they say, oh well, they could stay back, but I mean, their home is here, and that's where they work.
Oh yeah, because we have the money to just stay in this place that we came here to have a good time and kind of vacation.
And then if he's the one working there, I mean, luckily if I were in that situation, I guess I would be. I could teach online from.
You could make it work. It's easier for people like us. But if you have you go to work 9 to 5 and you're trapped in another country.
It's so
they're not going to let you work in that other country.
Yeah, I actually now luckily I love this. I have done a lot of world traveling in my life. I'm actually completely satisfied with just living here the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
But I just have to worry about it from the Thailand side. I don't feel like I'm guaranteed,
Right. How much longer do you got to do all that?
There's no, technically there's
no?
a weird lottery system to become permanent resident,
Oh, okay.
but it's like it might take bribing the right people or something.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Which
like, who do you got to bribe?
Exactly,
because that's how it works here.
Do it. I'm willing to do that if it's, but I don't. Who and am I gonna? I don't want to end up in jail because I do the wrong thing.
Right? Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've talked to like some visa agencies and stuff. I'm trying to get like I'd rather even pay a little more.
Well, yeah, usually
but they can do. I don't want to just.
I think they're the official bribe takers. It's kind of like because like here in Mexico, you gotta hire a lawyer.
Yeah,
well, they're not lawyers. They're just the approved bribe takers.
Yeah.
So once we figured that out, we stopped doing it because we're like, well, what's if we can do what they just did?
Yeah,
like we don't speak Spanish, so that's kind of a barrier.
Yeah.
And they've used that against us a couple times because we've gone and they're just like, I don't want to help you. You don't know Spanish, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll make another appointment. I'm usually pissed, but I hate the government. It doesn't matter where the government is, really, honestly. Especially when I know, you're just fleecing us for this plastic card that says we're allowed to be here. You know, make it, don't lie. Just be like, hey, it costs this much.
Yeah.
Pay it.
Yeah. And then
instead of acting like,
I mean, in a way, it would be, exactly. I'm like, if there's just have it as a,
you're the government, so just be the government. Be like, hey, it costs this much and pay it instead of going, you need to bribe some people off and
make it.
You're already corrupt.
Yeah,
everybody knows it.
And that's what, but like that style corruption is actually probably similar to Mexico, and there are things like that here that are much easier than like a system where you like in America. Yeah, it's so much worse to go through. Like here, there are always. I remember there's something. Yeah, even a ticket, getting a ticket. I was like, that that it was easy to just pay the
cop
fine on site, you know what I mean? Can I just pay the fine now?
Yeah.
Hey, can I pay the fine now? And yes. And then, so it's like
instead of having to go to court.
Yeah, exactly. It's
blah.
better for everybody. And I don't think it's like a big secret. That's like a perk to the job. And he's the senior. There's a lot of other police officers working that one, and the main head one who also had run through the ranks. I mean, that's a gig. That's a perk of the job. He gets that. Yeah. There's nobody I don't think there was a guy above him that would be, you're not supposed to do that. It's just kind of,
well, no, unless the guy above him makes sure he gets his little.
And he does. Yeah. But
that's
the
all
thing
he cares about.
Yeah, it's actually still cheaper by not having that sort of system. The prices would be much higher. Like that's why the ticket are like
because you got to pay you got to pay a judge. You got to pay bailiffs. You got to pay lawyers and blah blah. It's like a whole racket. Instead of just pay the cop, and then the cop pays his boss, and it's over with. You get a lot of that down here. And you got to be careful because they're catching people doing the bribes now. So you got to be really worried about who. I just try to stay away from the cops as much as possible. You can't always. They're there.
So what kind of tell me. So what is your daily life? I mean, like
basically, I sit in the spot. And I'm in front of my computer all day. I'm making clips and talking shit on Twitter for the most part. Which, like, I don't know how long I'm going to be on there. Much longer. It's getting too demoralizing just watching. Just everybody fund the WeChat of the West, which is what it's turning into, and I don't want no part of that.
It's so there's another interesting thing I want to talk about. Another thing that I battle with is the now and that was crazy. The last election, presidential election, they made it, or because of COVID, the post offices were closed, and if I wanted to do a mail-in ballot, it had to be like first class. Posted. It would have been so expensive.
Certified.
I obviously didn't do it. It's not even worth 70, or I'd still to do a mail-in ballot. I'd still have to pay like 5, 6. I mean, it'd be like 20, 30.
Yeah.
But it's not worth it, basically. For
No,
me,
especially when
to do that. Then there's the fact that it's like, well, I mean, it's rigged anyway. But at the same time, it's like I almost feel like there is some. I feel like if there, like, it's not about the actual ballots, but if there is a big enough movement behind something that they could make sure, oh wow, look at that bug. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Well.
hooray for the jungle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I always get weird things. So I mean, it's like, I feel like they could always rig the election, but if there is a big enough movement. So basically, I guess my point is that I still like to support, like I still kind of get involved in the election things. Like basically, I'm just like, I mean, so is there any what has value? What do you think? Whether it's actually voting or just kind of getting in the thing and trying to. Is there any point in addressing anything about
honestly,
the election?
I think the system is just wholly corrupt. Like it's just totally corrupt, and there's no saving it, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, they sold us out in 1871 when they basically turned the U.S. They turned the government into a corporation.
Tell me about that. I don't know specifically about that.
Well, I don't know all the specifics either. It's stuff that I've read.
Yeah.
And I've known for a few years, so I've like forgotten stuff.
Okay,
but I'm pretty sure it was 1871. They corporatized the U.S. government. And so like they started, like I know like when you get your birth certificate, your parents sign your birth certificate, they're basically signing your life away to the corporation. So like you're born owned basically by the U.S. government, the corporation. And then they have the Fed Reserve came in and screwed all the money up. You know, it's just everything's just such a racket. It's been a racket for a long, long time. But now we're, you know, and we went through the golden age where everything was great, you know, after the wars, which is usually what happens. You know, like you get that's that saying that you know, strong men make good times make weak men make hard times. You know, and it's just like a cycle that kind of seems to happen naturally. It seems like I wouldn't count on it being totally natural because it seems like they've got their hooks into everything, you know. I might be getting too far out, but no. I've never voted. I've always seen that politics was like a scam. It always just seemed fake to me, and voting felt like validating it. So why do I want to validate? That's
you
know. And so I've never done it. I've had people almost get me a couple times, you know, like the last, like for Trump, like I'm living in the mountains, so I'm surrounded by Trumpers.
Yeah.
You know, they all watch Fox News every day. Yeah. And, you know, I was like the weird liberal kind of guy up there. Oh, yeah. Because I didn't pay attention, you know, like this is bullshit. And I was from the city, so I was already kind of soft anyways to them. Yeah. You know? But I was in, so they almost got me to register once. They're like, well, you're not going to vote for the president, at least vote locally. Well, why? You know, but the more I've learned that voting locally would be awesome. Like that would probably be the more smaller government, local governments, but they all have like, you know, we're in a country. Yeah, you know, so
like
we
how
have
your resources are used in your community.
Yeah, so like the country's split up in states, which is great, and the states govern themselves for the most part. You know, the federal government's kind of just blurring all that. You know, so the federal government for sure needs to be like decimated for the most part. Local governments, you know, they govern themselves in the local area with all the resources. But since you're in the same country, you all have like a similar, outlook, culture, similar ideas of how you want to run things, but if it gets too much, then yeah, I guess, break it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like with everything in life, balance.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we take the good and the bad, and
yeah,
everything just needs to be balanced. There's too much power on top. It's just way too much. That's why there's no saving. They have all the power. They have all the control, and for us to rise up, that just means they got to pound us down, and that hurts us more than it hurts them.
Yeah.
Because part of their thing is, hey, there's too many useless eaters here. We don't need all these people. They're a waste of space. They're using our resources. That's how I think they think.
Yeah.
If you're a very rich and powerful person, you feel like you own everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think wars help them. They make a lot of money that way, but it also kills people.
Yeah.
And killing people is great. It's good business for the government. That they get us with our water, they get us with the air, they get us with the food, they get us with the media, everything. A phone, we're all staring at our phone all day, or I'm staring at the screen all day. I'm not particularly healthy because of that. I'm trying to be more healthy, get more active, but I'm a person that's really, and I gotta momentum. Like in the morning, I gotta get up and I just gotta get rolling.
Yeah.
If I don't just start rolling and going, then I the rest of my day is kind of just effed up. I'm just not into it. So first thing in the morning, I want to get down here and I want to just get started.
Yeah.
Whereas it's probably better to do some exercise first,
Yeah.
So I got to get myself, because I think once I do get into that rhythm, I think that'll be great for me. So me and my wife, we're trying to do that every morning now. It's kind of messing me up right now. It's slowing me down for the rest of the day, and I'm getting more clients, so I'm even more busier.
Yeah.
But I need that, and so I need to take the time to do it, and make it a habit. And then I think once that happens, then I'll be rolling, and I'll feel much better. And you sitting here all day,
use that to roll. I mean, that could be
get the momentum going.
I'm able to do it. I mean, I don't do it every day. Sometimes if I, based on the timing, sometimes I'll cut it off. I'll always make an excuse, but I'll always be
right. You've always been a physical guy anyway, so I'm sure it's a little easier for you to get into that mode.
Yeah, I get hard on myself if I when I miss myself. I talk myself out of it in the morning, and then later in the day, I'm like,
you're like, man, I should have done that.
That was bullshit. That was not. How did you do that? Like, I've got this battle with me and trying that.
Yeah. It's with everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody battles all those.
Yeah.
For sure. So, it's like Joe Rogan would say, you just got to call yourself a pussy.
Yeah.
No, do it, pussy.
Yeah. That is, you gotta
quit being lame. But you gotta tell yourself that sometimes.
Yeah, because it's easy to convince yourself because you're you. It's like it's easy.
I'm sore from yesterday. I don't think I did such a good job yesterday. I don't need to do it today.
Yeah. And that's why what I did. Just as a little piece, I knock it way down, because you figure if you can stick to a real small thing, and then I slowly graduate, it's easy to try to go all out. And so I actually have different thing where it's a combination of like yoga, push-ups, some meditation, some Wim Hof breath work and stuff. And then I have a short version, which is like, I have to at least do that. And it's like 20 minutes that I could do everything.
Yeah.
At least that's something. And it's good enough. It could last an hour if I do have the time. And that kind of makes it better to have your long version, have your short version. Don't have any rules. If you only do your short version, that's fine. You can do every day.
At least you did that and be happy and positive to yourself for doing it.
Yeah.
For sure.
At least you did that.
Yeah, that's
you can kind of be like, you're a bitch for not doing the long version, but at least you did the.
But at least you did the small, so you're still working on it. You didn't
Yeah.
just, oh, I took a day off.
Yeah.
Or,
So
you know.
I feel a lot, that worked out for me, more than trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, me being out of shape, me and my wife, we're both out of shape, and we started, and so we're doing this program. I think it was like Booty Boot Camp or something my wife signed up for, and it's like one of the local expats in town. She runs classes on the internet, and she does them at our house too. But so she did this program, and I wanted to keep I want to be motivated. I want my wife to be motivated to be healthier. So I was like, hey, I'll do it with you. I need to be healthier too. So it's a lot of squats and lunges and
Okay. Yeah.
and but so to start off, this lady, she's so hardcore. She wanted us to do like 300 squats or something on the first day, plus a bunch of other type squat type exercises. We didn't even get half of those done before blowing our legs out. We're so out of shape, but I knew that. I was like, there's no way we're going to do that. So let's not feel bad for not doing all that. Let's do what we can and not do a lot. So we're more motivated to do it the next day. Because I've done that where, I'm going to get in better shape. And and this, and the next day I'm like, I can't, and I don't want to do that. That sucks, So we're just slow and steady and just sticking with it. She bought some mats, so we're doing like wall Pilates and shit like that. And eventually we might move into some yoga. So, progress, grow.
Yeah.
As long, like you said, have a short version if you're short on time. So you're at least doing something, and then get on with your day.
Yeah. That's I like and I like the I also do, actually, this one you might like too. So I did is eye exercises, especially because like you going back and forth, like I had this in my, like I do yoga meditation there, and it's nice too because it's like when you're doing a workout thing with squats or push-ups and stuff and then you kind of need breaks in between. During those breaks, do something like this. There's several eye ones where you just kind of follow your eye going back and forth, and then also like, how you see like two of your fingers, and then look in the horizon, and then look at the closer, look at, and just like wow, and then especially when, because I'm on the computer a lot, not quite as long, but those ones are good, and they're perfect because they can fit in between your exercises. On your downtime.
Or even that's a good idea, because I have noticed lately that my eyes have been feeling strained, and I actually heard my wife complaining about it because she's sitting next to me on her laptop working all day too. And we do. I try to have the window open, and I try to look out on. We don't got a horizon here. We got trees kind of in the distance, or I try to look at the clouds. Because I know that all this, looking this close to your screen, it's not good for your eyes. And I could tell. I could notice. So trying to look, like you said, looking off into the horizon. Is really good for your eyes. After being so close. So that's a good idea. I could probably do that when I'm just sitting here thinking about what to write.
Just breaking out. Even just looking off, and then and like doing that, actually like focus on this, like even in your room. I mean, even things, it's crazy how something just even a couple feet in the distance, your eyes have to change to focus on each thing. So you can just like look at your room, like look at
try to zoom in on something.
And it is, I mean, because that's more how we're built to do. I mean,
right. It's way more natural to be looking off into like the bushes or something to see if there's food,
absolutely,
instead of a screen. So I was just gonna say, man, like with your idea with building up your property, then that sounds great. That's awesome. I wish I could do something like that. At some point, hopefully we can own some land somewhere, but it's not in the future right now. Well, but I'm really excited to hear about what you got planned. I know it's going to be 20 years in the future, pretty much.
Okay,
but I know it's going to take that long.
Question: you want me to give you some, or
just like I know you're talking about you want to try to get like make it like eco-friendly kind of like tourism type thing, maybe like have people stay out there for like retreats.
Yeah, see, yeah, and it's funny because I don't know exactly what will become of it necessarily. So it's kind of is going to get. So I like talking about it because it helps formulate what I'm going towards. Like
more, yeah.
I believe in like you know, I wanted to have like a mental wellness to sort of, you know, like I'm obviously against all pharmaceuticals or anything, but I do believe in psychological health, and I think is getting. I mean, I do believe that it's actually a serious issue. At the same time, I think the way that it's being addressed is
wrong.
So terrible on so many levels.
Just to make it worse. That's the reason why it's being addressed that way.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
To make it worse.
And so to have, and the funny thing is that I believe that health is actually less. They always say that it's not in. You know, there's no one size fits all, or you know, and but actually in general, there is a just, you know, certain things that are all connected. So, you know, and these are sunlight and you know, human communication, and I mean, all these things are actually can help us on all levels. So I believe that if I could from like a so I guess I'm going back and forth. The ideal thing would, because I hate money too. That's the thing. I hate money. I want whatever I do to just be self-sustainable. And if money is involved, then money has to be involved to make it self-sustainable. But it doesn't have to be money. If it could be where people come, I mean, what I would like to do, they just come and they take part in the living and doing. Some people who happen to have money might want to add something, develop something that could make you know, they could buy something specifically,
add to it
in a certain way. So but yeah, so so I'll give you a little bit of the history. Is that when I came out to it's like 11 years ago, I came out to Thailand. I my last fight, I had enough money. I was like, I got to get out of here. It's pretty much the end of my career and stuff. I was like, I'm not, and I didn't really have anything moving that much forward. So I came to Thailand, but I still liked martial arts. So I wanted to do Muay Thai fights.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why you went to Thailand, right?
Yeah. And I did some of those, but the like, I'm not going to take, for one, the Muay Thai fighters and straight Muay Thais, their shins are so much stronger than anybody I ever fought in MMA. That
their whole life they're beating on them.
In MMA, if somebody throws a kick, I'd elbow their leg and their shin, boom, and it would put them out. They wouldn't kick with that leg anymore. But here, they're all that did was
probably smile at you.
Yeah, they just kicked again, and then my elbow ended up swelling up. And if you think about it, probably should. A shin is much stronger than your
stronger than an elbow.
But most people's shins, that's enough to hurt them.
Aren't as strong as these guys. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
And on top of that, the money that you get for it is like Muay Thai fighters out here. They fight like 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, know, right? And they only make like maybe $100 a fight or something. So it's like, so there's no way that was something I was going to do. And then that's how I got started teaching, and I really enjoyed teaching. It's teaching, you know, brick and mortar schools, teaching it. Yeah. And then my wife and I were traveling around, and that was in Phuket, which is more touristy island. Yeah. Still cheap in comparison, but more expensive. We would never be able to buy land there. Land is expensive to buy. Yeah. But we found this area up here in Chiang Mai, it's a mountainous region. We didn't know. So eventually we saved up money for like 5 years. We saved up enough money to buy the land. So this land is like 1.5 acres. It touches 2 rivers that run into each other and it's $30,000, which we were able to save up for in 5 years. Awesome. So even though you don't make that much money in Thailand, we were both earning money. We were both making about $1,500 a month. So that's $3,000. We were able to
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Over $1,000 a month, bought the land. So yeah. And then, so now we never will have mortgage. There's no debt. We have no debt or anything. it's really just most of my money actually is invested in making sure that I can make money. So that's why I can't wait to get to that point where it's like I don't have to pay anything monthly anymore. Like I hate all these monthly fees. So it's like
get off the system more.
Yeah. So and
Get off the grid.
Can be done. The one thing that sucks is that in Thailand, in order to have my visa, I need to have a certain money. I have to have Thai like $10,000 in Thai baht in a Thai bank account.
In an account, okay.
And or I wouldn't be able to get it. Now, if I don't have that, then you can pay more money to do it. But I calculated out the thing, and after you could have to pay like $600 or $700 for somebody to fake the paper, or it's not even, they don't even fake the paperwork. They actually go to the real bank and get this documents that basically you're going to have to pay that money. And I calculated, well, I'm planning to live here forever, so I better just save up that money, just put it in the bank and not touch it.
Yeah.
Over time, I'm going to end up spending more money doing it every year, $600 every year.
Instead of just doing it at once,
just doing it and having it there. And then, my son will inherit that when I die or whatever. That's just basically for the rest of my life. The only problem is they could up that at some point, because
whenever they want.
And then I'll be like, okay, well, I don't have it, and what are they gonna do? Kick me out? I actually have a plan that if something happens where I ever am at that point where I can't stay here, I think that I can, because I'm in a small village in the way. I don't feel like they have. That's what's cool about like a top-down authority. By the time somebody at the top will be like, okay, go get all the people who are staying here illegally, and then those people tell this person, those people tell this people. I have a good relationship in my community and everything. And if I'm sure that I'm just hoping if it gets to that point where I don't have.
You've been there long enough that you're basically.
Yeah, they're just.
The locals will be like, no.
Technically, I don't have a visa here, and I'm not, so I'm planning on that. That's what there's no point in fearing all the possibilities. So that could happen. So basically, I'm planning to just work for the next, I have the 18-year plan now. I just turned 42, so I want to have 60 is like I want to cut it all out.
Okay.
And then and then I'm gonna have this thing called the Gathering or something. I don't know that yet. And I'm gonna be here the best time, because it's pretty hot during, actually our worst season is like March and April, because of it's a drier season. And it's raining during this summer. So even though it will get hot, but it rains more often, so it actually stays a little cooler, but it's still pretty hot. But our December and January are like perfect weather. Perfect. It's just cool and everything. So I'm thinking I'm gonna I want to have something. And so 18 years from now, I think if I'm just like, but I want to be like off. I want to create it in a way that's like, I'm not, you might not even be able to get a hold of me. Just show up, basically. I just want people to show up anytime during these months, and it'll be an annual event, and it lasts for 2 months. So you can come anytime, stay a week, 2 weeks, or whatever, and then I'm hoping it can just kind of sustain itself through whatever thing, whether it's just working on the land, or if maybe I'll have a project. Maybe each year I'll have a project, and whoever comes is help work on that project. So it's in creation. The part of the podcast I'm doing, I always want to talk a little bit about it. I kind of want to connect with. I connect with some of my childhood friends I wrestled with in high school or college, and martial arts friends, some of my English teacher friends that I made out here. Kind of want to have that group. I'm not necessarily trying to get people that I don't know and trying to make like, I'm not necessarily trying to get like a big following, although that's a battle I do have. I admit, part of me does have that. Like, I would love to be like a beacon of intellectual wisdom that I can share. I do. I admit there is this thing. Is that just my ego? And stuff, and like the Twitter thing and stuff is like can I have a following that could, and again, it would be to generate money, but to some extent, but it would only be, it's not actually the money that I want. I just want to create a system that just it's just flowed. Like I think, like you're doing, it, making clips and stuff is like for the good of the system. If you could just, I'm sure you'd be happy to just like be in a system that you can just do what you enjoy doing, and
not worry about
just,
not worrying about getting paid or or food or
food and income. So for you, I know for me, my wife is Thai. Like foreigners can't. That's why the land is so cheap here, because foreigners can't. They don't let foreign investment. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like this land's not
Definitely.
mine. I mean, if something happened to my wife and son, I wouldn't
You're
have
screwed.
any right to hear to live here. So I'm at Mexico. Are there? You said there is. Could you? Or if you did end up buying land, would it be in Mexico?
From what I've heard is, you can buy land here, but it can't be. I think it's got to be 5 miles in from the shoreline. So like they don't want foreigners buying, beachfront. I guess.
Yeah.
So
but that would be okay still, probably.
Yeah.
Still expensive.
And then Mexico's decent sized country.
Yeah.
There's plenty. So if we ever get to that point, I think, there would be a possibility of that, but you always got to worry about.
Did
I actually buy it from somebody that it's official?
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Because I hear those stories all the time.
Oh yeah. I've heard a lot of those, and with foreigners, getting land. There's this thing in Thailand where you can get a 99-year lease of the land, so they don't buy it, but you can rent it, and it'll end up going back to the family of the person who sold to you. They'll probably be long dead too.
Yeah, because
but even those, I mean, that's how it is nowadays. I mean, even in America, you buy something and they give you, you get fined, and then it goes up. You can't afford whatever they tell you.
And then they just confiscate it.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, somebody just shows up and says you don't own this property, so it's like, at some point you just got to be like, well,
okay, well, I'm gonna roll the dice and try, see what happens.
So
because we moved here because she wanted to be near the beach, and we love the beach. It's all right, but we've actually gotten kind of bored of it. So we started trekking more into the jungle.
Okay.
And I love going into the jungle. It's just it's awesome. Like they got they're called cenotes here, and it's basically just back. We were like on the Yucatan Peninsula, and back in the day, a big meteorite hit, supposedly killed all the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But it basically blew up all the limestone around here and like made big bubbles, out of the limestone. So it's basically a bunch of caves. There's or just basically holes with water, fresh water in them, because that's where all the water goes.
Yeah.
And they're all different. They're all beautiful. There's thousands of them here, and we've only been to like 5.
Wow.
But and a lot of them, there's people that are turning them into, places for people to retreat to, they're eco-friendly hotels, a little boutique hotels.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing. So we're not like, rugging it out in the jungle, but we're like in luxury.
Yeah, but it's nature. It's still real nature. It's not.
It's still nature.
Not
and it's real nature. And I swear, I feel like every time I get into one of those cenotes, I feel like I'm healing myself.
Yeah.
Like they just feel like it. Like when they said they were talking about the fountain of youth back in the day, that's what it feels like. I'm like I'm in one of the fountains of the because it's weird. I'll have like mosquito bites or whatever, and they're scabbing over. I jump in the cenote, scab falls off, my skin is perfect, or like my wife, she's been getting her nails done, her toenails done with like this acrylic paint that they have here. And I guess it causes your nails not to be able to breathe. So so if you do it a lot, it's bad for your toenails, I guess. I'm just learning all this.
Yeah.
Because we went to the cenote, she's like, her toe was bothering her for a little while, and she's like, I think I need to stop getting my nails done. I think it's doing what I just explained. And I was like, oh, really? So when we got into the cenote, like her nail just fell off.
Oh, wow.
Like it was like, get this out of here, it's bad. So wow. And then her toe started feeling better shortly after.
Yeah.
you know, it's just something with the water. I don't know what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is, but
yeah.
I just love it. So,
Yeah.
and the Mayans, you know, they're the ones that own, you know, they all got a bunch of tribes out here, out in the jungle, and they own the land. And,
Yeah.
you know, if you get in good with them, you could
Yeah.
buy land from them.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And then yeah,
you know,
okay.
and
Oh wow.
so
Wow.
so some of the places that we've been to were from, you know, like foreign investors bought some land and they made like a retreat, you know, on where the cenote is and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
But other than that, I haven't really heard too many like foreigners. You know, they'll rent
Yeah.
beachside
Yeah.
or lease it from somebody. But
Yeah. I mean, that would be. What about what about like southern, like Mexico City, Chihuahua, Agua
yeah,
Caliente?
we haven't even been there yet.
Yeah.
But at some point, I think, I don't know. We're signing a 2-year lease in October to stay here for another couple of years, and I figure we're going to do more jungle exploration. But I think we're going to go to the West Coast next.
Okay.
We'll be
Okay.
closer to family,
Yeah.
shorter air flights.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and the climate's different. You know,
Yeah.
we're not used to the humidity.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, we're running the AC all day. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm still kind of shiny.
Yeah.
You know, from being from California, the dry heat. So
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe we might hit up Cabo in that area or La Paz. We heard, you know, we heard they have really good internet there because that's our main concern. We make our
Yeah.
money off the
Yeah.
internet, so
Yeah.
you need to have a good connection. What I would really like to do is go, yeah, more central. There's mountains up,
Yeah.
and the countryside's beautiful. The weather is like perfect, you know, but it's not as the infrastructure is not as good as far as the
Yeah.
internet goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So who knows? Well, I do notice that like the couple of the places that we've gone to in the cenotes in the jungle, they have Starlink, so you can get the you know, the
Okay.
Elon
Yeah.
Musk thing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it works. So who knows? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it might blanket Mexico, and then we just go anywhere. I don't know how great it is for like her work stuff or me uploading things, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the future.
Yeah. Yeah. We got lucky with our, yeah, we were, I mean, it's, yeah, actually, when we bought this land, I didn't know for sure because I was teaching online. We were looking at different places, and there's one land we were gonna get. It actually wouldn't have been as good as this land. It wasn't close to the rivers, and
Right.
but there was no like, there's no internet. But here, we're close to a village. Like we're in this orchard area, so we have no neighbors that are houses, but they're farmland basically. Neighbors, and then but we're only like a mile from the village, and most of the villagers, they come here. We're the only people that bought an orchard and decided to build a house there. And
okay,
but because the village, they have fiber cable, so I just paid a little extra and they connected it, so it's like crazy. I have really good internet for that, so we got like lucky with that.
We picked this place because it has fiber.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like the other side of town doesn't.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's so that yeah, so yeah, no, there let's say something about something. Yeah, who knows about that?
And
but okay, no, yeah, I did want to go back on one thing. So again, because I'm always I can tell too with sometimes some of the posts I give or our responses and stuff I always do have these battles of the thing. So back to this like presidential election thing. I see these certain candidates like Vivek Ramaswamy and RFK Jr. and you know, as well as Trump too, of course, that they are giving this like anti I mean, they're saying the right things, and it's like sometimes I think it doesn't matter even almost if the fact that they're saying it and having traction is like a good thing, or is it all part of I mean, and if it's like I still feel like I feel like it's weird, like there is a movement going on. Sometimes I feel like there is some hope that there are people, even if they can't, even if they're able to stop them, it seems like there's more, basically in this election, there's more voices that are speaking out, at least that, like whether they have an actual call. Again, to me, it's just
it's a silver lining for sure.
The message, just getting the message out there and waking people up. I feel like there's a lot of people that are, because they're sheep, they won't, but now there's enough. Now it's hard to avoid it. Before some of these voices were just fringe. I feel like now there's some big enough voices that are saying the same things that used to be fringe, that the tables have turned to some extent.
Sam Tripoli calls them something like that, like they're safe dangerous. So they seem like they're dangerous to the system, but they're not. They're, because people like me have been saying it for years, and then now you're gonna come in and say it now 2-3 years later and act like it was your idea, or I'm the one to listen to. I'm saying all the right things.
Yeah, exactly.
Vote for me. It's like with the 60s and the civil rights movement, like how the CIA and the government, they just basically they took that over. There was a grassroots movement, and they came in and corrupted it and molded it the way they wanted to. And it seemed like there was a rebellion and people were standing up, and which there were real people out there that really felt like they were making a difference. So they were just being co-opted.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
Doing the job. And that's what I'm always afraid of. And especially with like RFK Jr., like he's been in the club his whole life. He was born into the club. You know what I mean? The George Carlin. It's a big club and you ain't in it. Well, he's in it. So I'm not trusting him. I don't care what he says. And then Vivek, I don't know very much of, but to me, he sounds very polished. He really, the first time I saw him, I thought, oh, he's the Republican Obama. That's his role. He's gonna play the Republican Obama, and like RFK Jr. is basically playing, he's Bernie Sanders, basically.
Right.
He's just gonna take votes.
And
it just seems like they have their own little roles they gotta play. So it's really hard. I don't know all that much of Vivek's.
Well, he
haven't looked into it.
Like the smaller government control, at least a little bit.
Like he says a lot of great things.
Perspectives like that. But I mean, just like he wants to cut off, CIA.
That sounds great.
The education, Ministry of Education. He's the only person. He's just like, cut the Ministry of Education out, or the Ministry of Education, or the whatever. I mean, but at first it sounded ridiculous, and then when he explains it, that is what we need to do. It's take out. I mean, it sounded extreme, but he was just like slash it. So I mean, it's like it's weird. I feel like this. We don't. I don't know. It's a weird system, but I actually don't want. We go on for probably ever about a lot of those things, but there are like things that, I mean, we're out though. That's what's interesting. So I want to, I guess, talk a little bit about being an expat. I mean, like, how much does it matter to us? I mean, we're still American. We still are. Of course, we have loved ones in America as well, but it's like, we're also able to kind of just like watch it from the outside. So it's interesting. How's
I know. I feel weird sometimes talking about like, we need to stop listening to these crooks, and I'm like, I'm not even in there. I'm not there, and I'm out here. So I do feel weird about that sometimes. I'm like, did I run away from the fight a little bit? You know what I mean? Which, I felt like that kind of when we first left, but I was like, you know what, this is the best thing for me and my family. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And we've loved it so far. You know, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing if I didn't. And I feel like, well, at least, you know, I'm still kind of in the fight because, you know, I'm still out there on social media.
Oh,
but yeah,
so,
like if they lock things down again in the US, it's not gonna affect me.
Yeah.
Unless my wife needs to go back to the States for work or something like that. Or, you know, if one of my parents, God forbid, falls ill or something. So yeah, it's a very weird feeling being on the outside and still caring so much. And I should probably take more interest in what's going on locally, you know, because that's what's actually going to affect me.
Is there a big expat community then? I mean, it's touristy or like, are there expats living?
It's touristy, but yeah, there's a decent expat community. Like on Friday, we went out, they had there's like a pop-up chef that was doing like a dinner at this restaurant. And it was basically all expats that showed up. And there was probably like 70 or 80 of us there. So it was kind of nice to meet a bunch of new people and hear their stories. You know, I mean, everybody's stories fairly similar. You know, a lot of people showed up because COVID happened. You know, and a lot of lots of Canadians are here.
Yeah.
You know, trying, you know, because they just went crazy up there. You know, they're already talking about locking them down again.
Crazy, I almost feel like it's just a shift. I mean, because if you look at it from like, I mean, America's obviously a major player in global
the world stage
things, but at the same time, it's like those people they're not Americans, they're globalists, and I almost feel like in some ways they're swapping out. Like America could become the place where everyone's exploited, and they're going to make other countries rich. Ethiopia, I might get lucky. They might choose Thailand, and all of a sudden it's going to flourish or something. You know, I feel like they're doing these shifty things, and I feel like, I mean, they could do it like that. I mean, they have the control to somebody has to be exploited, and the majority of people have to be exploited, and maybe it's maybe our time's up
who
or
knows?
something.
You know, like
I don't know.
You know, a lot of people theorize about like the Roman Empire. Did it actually ever die, or did it just move to the west?
Yeah,
you know, it just moved to the United States, and then and that lasted. What, the Roman Empire lasted 250 years, I think. The U.S. is just up on 250 years. So it's this, and the way it seems is, they're taking the power, they're killing the dollar, they're taking the power away from the U.S. and like with the BRICS nations, coming together, you know, maybe the power, their money will influence even more than the U.S. does now, and maybe that's where they're moving it to. But then again, a lot of those countries are in dire straits themselves. You know, like Russia's not, I mean, it looks like they're doing good, but you know, they're fighting a war right now. It'll be great after the war, but you know, as far as usually progress happens after wars. They're not doing all that great. China has, their economy is not the best either. You probably know more than I do. But you know, and birth rates are falling everywhere, like you know, especially in the West. But you know, China's already had that problem for a while. You know, for what they did with the one-child policy.
Everybody got locked. They're having a hard time. They're actually giving money to people to have more kids, but they've created a system where it's hard to have more
to
than
have kids or to even want. They don't want us having kids.
They don't have. And then that's gonna be really tough for when these. You know, only childs are going to be responsible for taking care of their parents when they get.
And in that culture, that's what their job is. They have to take care of their
child might die first. You know, unfortunately, and there's going to be, you know, then you're going to have a lot of old people that are like need.
Or you know, or 20 years when the old people are gone. And then you don't have any babies replacing the ones that died. So the economy is just eventually going to wither away. You know, it's not a good outlook for a lot of those countries. So who knows where the power structure is going to go? India seems like it's okay, but
no, I was going to say India. I always say if there's like a world war, I believe that I believe India is the keystone. Whoever India aligns with, I feel right now it's kind of even. If you, I mean, you know, the obvious like Russia, China, North Korea, Iran against like NATO, America, and Japan and Korea or something.
Europe,
like, and I feel like it's kind of even, but like I feel India would make whoever they sided with, I feel could tip the scale. And and they are, I mean, yeah, they're advanced. They have a lot of they're I think I actually like India too. I like Modi too, kind of the he just seems kind of I just like that clothes that he wears. He wears those white robes, and they're just so comfortable.
Right.
No, one thing interesting. I want to go back on one thing. I don't know if this what's interesting about like the dollar, that you know, they say the dollar is the reserve currency, and then but what's funny is that the dollar never was and the last reserve currency was the pound, but actually the dollar was never stronger than the pound. Like I mean, if you look at a pound versus the dollar, the pound is 1 pound is always higher than $1, and the buying power was. I remember going to England once when I was young, and I mean, you know, what would cost.
It was weird, right?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I wonder if America lost the reserve currency, would they somehow? I don't understand how the money system works. Like I said,
well, the money's fake.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So if they wanted the dollar to be strong, it could still be strong. It just wouldn't be the reserve currency. Who cares? I don't know. But so that one's a weird.
So once they took it off the gold standard and they based it basically on, we'll just print as much as we want whenever we want. You know, it just turned into, now it's just worth whatever, and all the economics go out the window. Honestly, when it's based off nothing, none of it means anything. The only reason why it means anything is because we agree.
Yeah.
That it does. And once we figure out it doesn't mean anything, the only reason why you're going to still agree with it is because you just don't want you still want to have your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You're too comfortable. You're too comfortable. You don't want it to go away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a good system. So what is when you, I mean, you mentioned talking to other like expats, kind of similar stuff. What about what are to me, I always want like the what other people are I want to feel comfortable. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to be an American when they're, if just like Biden talking and stuff. I mean, it's like, it's so embarrassing to see him talk. I'd rather have Obama sometimes, so at least he can.
At least it's somebody that has like cognitive abilities.
Somebody, I mean, at least he can sound like at least. I mean,
like my grandma, she got dementia before she passed, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't like Biden a lot because of a lot of things he's done in the past.
Yeah, but now it's sad.
But now it's like it's elder abuse. You're forcing this guy out there. He has no idea what's going on. It reminds me of the old king on Lord of the Rings. Like the worm tongue guys whispering in his ear, and he's just so old and decrepit. He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. That it is. It's so. So what to the non-American expats, what kind of things do they feel like they might offend you and they don't want to say anything, or do other people, like I feel embarrassed sometimes. Nobody really, I feel like people kind of walk on eggshells maybe around me. They don't want to say some obvious things. What about for you?
I don't know. Usually when I'm hanging out with people, there's usually drinks flowing, so conversation is less inhibited. So
and Canadians,
I'm open book for the most part.
Yeah,
I think people can read that. Especially when I have a few beers. So I haven't really noticed any people walking on eggshells or anything. But I've had people ask. And I'm just like, yeah, man,
Yeah,
it's crazy what's going on, you know? And, you know, especially like with the Canadians, because then they'll come right back at me with like, yeah, Trudeau's crazy too, you know? So like a lot of us have the same, you know, like we came here for the same reason almost. So we have
exactly
similar ideas and outlooks on what's going on in the world. So yeah, it's usually pretty amicable, or, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah, Biden's you know, he's brain dead pretty much. They need to get him out of there.
Yeah.
You know, or Trump. I think Trump's a dumbass, you know. I don't know why people like him. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, one thing too, that's there's a lot of like a lot of the leaders, like someone like Xi Jinping or something, he doesn't meet with somebody who's not the president, or, you know, I mean, he's not, so he doesn't want to meet. But then
the vice president,
he doesn't want it. A lot of world
chief
leaders,
secretary or some shit.
They don't want it. So that's why, that's one, because you'll get some people be like, oh, it doesn't matter if, like, they literally say, oh, it doesn't matter as long as as long as things can get done or something. But it's like on a world,
like,
I guess
the
on a
president
world
isn't
stage,
that important. But yeah, the president's important enough as a figurehead, as somebody to meet the other leaders for the other countries, you know.
Yeah,
that's basically what he is. And if he can't cognitively do that, he's hurting them, you know, hurting the U.S.
Is like Saudi Arabia,
especially on the world stage.
I think we permanently lost Saudi Arabia as a quote unquote ally. I don't know if they. I mean, I don't think we. I don't know.
I think we were just in cahoots with them when it was convenient.
Oil and everything, but I mean, like, but that what's the name, MSB or something, the thing, he hates Biden, he hates it, but I mean, he doesn't, he can't, he's like, I mean it's, you can't pretend to be a world leader, meet the president of the United States, and pretend that you had any
productive
that any conversation productive. You look like a fool if you like I see the Japanese and South Korean presidents meeting up with Biden, and they try to pose and they take some pictures and say all these things, like I said, had productive conversations. It's like, no, there's no possible way you just had a productive conversation with Biden.
They're just there for the photos and that's it, because you know, because I guess the U.S. still has some sort of, you know, power in the world stage. So it's good to get the pictures. But they're probably laughing, making fun of him right there, probably, you know, speaking Korean and laughing in his face. You know, just well, all the world's a stage. You know, we gotta play our parts for the people to keep them, you know, under wraps. You know, keep them from thinking that things are bad enough to rise up. You know, it's all a show.
It's a fun show though. Now, it's just cartoon. You know, if you look at everybody as cartoon characters, and that's actually that's how. Yeah, it's just like you can look at it. Everything's easier to, like, even like a work environment, if you get frustrated at somebody, just pretend they're a cartoon, and you can appreciate them as, like, if the whole way
just like the character,
character. Everybody's a character rather than a real person, or like a. It makes it easier to deal with things, and sometimes it's the only way you can get through the day. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Laugh now, cry later. You know. For sure.
So I also I'm getting into these. So I'm getting into this podcasting, and I want to know what kind of what kind of advice do you have on like, you've seen a little bit about what I'm doing, or something, like what, I don't even know. I guess I don't even know what my objective is. I don't know if you can tell me what my objective is, or help me ask the questions. I don't know. Give me any insight on what I'm doing and where I'm going, or anything in that realm. What do you have to say about just podcasting? Because you know about the podcasting industry. Again, I do want followers, but at the same time, I want to be authentic and so that's all I'm doing.
Organic followers are the best.
Yeah,
you know. You don't, that's the best thing because they're the ones that are actually going to support you.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
interact with them as much as possible. You know,
Yeah.
consistency as far as a podcast goes, consistency is the priority, I think. You know, because if people can, they see that you have like a certain schedule and they can kind of rely on, oh, Chris is going to drop an episode on Tuesday or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I look forward to that. Like when I'm going to go to work or what, like a lot of people listen on their drives to work or whatever. Oh, I know I got that to listen to on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know? So like if they get used to that, then they'll know that you're dependable. You know, oh, I'm going to have that voice that I like to hear on that day. And that's what I've heard from podcasters throughout the years from working with them.
Okay.
You know, like consistency.
So consistency,
just, you know, post.
Yeah, that's So yeah, right now I'm just doing. I'm doing these meeting with someone to talk about just random stuff. But yeah, I think once I get a nice collection of people that are interested, then I'm gonna have a certain subject, and then do that. So I want to do that. I think I will. So would you like to be someone I regularly meet with sometimes or something, or not regularly, often, but like I do a cycle or where I'll come around again and
well, for sure, yeah, man. My DMs are always open. I'm always glad to you know, help anybody out, especially you know, if they want some advice or whatever, or just they just want to vent a little or bounce ideas off. Perfectly fine. I'd love to do that. Back at you. You know?
No, absolutely. No, that you know, I like this thing. I like where, like I said, that it's so easy to just look at everything as negative, but at the same time there are things. I mean, you know, at the same time, this has always been going on. It's either we're either awake or we're not awake, but we've always been kind of enslaved by the system. So what's better? I'd say at least being awake and kind of, you know, we're probably going to get so awake that then we just don't know anymore
that you're black pilled. I know. Yeah. I fight it all the time.
Yeah.
Fight it all the time. Cause I'm already, I think I'm naturally just more cynical or glass half empty. I think I don't know if that's nature or nurture or whatever, but I just always kind of been that way. And so it's hard to go against your nature kind of thing. But once you're aware of it, you can take steps to mitigate it a little. I mean, you know, because I'm always going to have that. Oh, but why are they doing that? You know, why are they doing that? Oh, and then the conspiratorial brain starts working, and then but so there's times I'm like my wife isn't like, she kind of pays attention to it a little bit because I'm always like talking to her, but sometimes she'll be like, or even my son too, will be like, no, Dad, like think of it this way. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense than what I was just saying. Like, get that idea out of my mind, you know. So it's good to have the soundboards. But yeah, as far as being black pilled, it's a constant fight. You know, so yeah, sometimes ignorance does feel like it would be bliss. You know, and because I remember I was listening to Alex Jones and listening to like Coast to Coast AM. This was like early 2000s, like right at like after pre 9/11 and after 9/11.
Oh wow,
that's when cool. You know, because Alex Jones would come on Coast to Coast and then and talk about all that stuff. And then I remember getting in the car in Chris Adams' car one time, and he had Alex Jones' book, and this was like I just had my kids. I was at my brother Sammy's house. Anyways, he had Alex Jones' book in his car. I was like, oh, well, you're reading Alex Jones? He's like, yeah, man, I remember you telling me about him. And so I went and got his book. And now, you know, he's just InfoWars, you know, he's sharing InfoWars links all the time. So like, you know, I was like, I knew what was going on. And then when I had my kids, I was like, it's too depressing. Like, it just took me and I was already kind of, you know, I was going through a hard time in that part of my life, and I just had to like, I don't need this in my life. It's too it's hard enough when all I'm doing is making it worse, black pilling myself.
Yeah.
So then that's why I kind of went back to sleep. And then, COVID kind of woke me back up again. And I knew, okay, if I'm going to be paying attention again, I need to have like checks and balances that, if I start feeling too negative, I need to catch myself or see or get off the internet or, take a break or, all right. Because there are times where I just get overwhelmed and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to play a video game instead of making a clip or listening to a podcast. I'm just going to zone out. I don't have to think about anything, but I'm playing my stupid video game, and it helps, but it's always there, and every time I turn on Twitter, it's just a scroll, doom scrolling, as they call it. This is what it feels like, because I basically created my own like almost echo chamber. The reason why I like Twitter is because it's not so much of an echo chamber. There's all the point of views and are there, and I don't want to be just funneled into some because I'm on
I follow Biden
platforms.
and Kamala Harris. I follow all of them. I love but I wrote one comment like something, and then you're automatically like nobody sees your comment. Like, dude, nobody's commenting on this. Come on, man.
Right.
So I know my comments aren't listed, but at least I like to hear what they say. I mean, you can actually find out a lot by seeing what's going on. I still listen to I listen to BBC News. They do one. I listen to that regularly just to see the CNN thing. I mean,
so you see what they're saying on because. Like we were talking about earlier, how they'll funnel the information. Like if you're going to watch a movie, like you'll see the characters you want to see. They do that with social media. They funnel you into these, so you don't hear what the other side is saying or talking about, and the other side doesn't hear what you're saying or what you're talking about. And it's two opposing things that have no idea what's going on, but they're opposed.
Yeah, exactly. That happens all the time, and they'll bring up stuff that you don't know what you're talking about. You bring up stuff that they don't know what you're talking about.
So then you look into it and you're like, okay, I can see why you think this. Like, I can see why people who think the world's going to end if we don't like kill everybody. That's basically what the climate change people want. They want to kill everybody. To save the world
or block or block out the sun.
Block out the sun. Which kill everybody. And everything, but they think they're saving the world. They think they're saving people. Like a lot of them, I think, genuinely, they've been programmed to be so. Like I remember Captain Planet when we were little kids. Like they were programming us since we were little.
Oh yeah,
the world's gonna end if we don't change. And now those people are us in our 40s. Freaking out. Everything's gonna die, so luckily, like the newer generations, I think, they always rebel against their older generation. So hopefully they're seeing it and going like, exactly. And I could tell it seems like a lot of them aren't falling into the bullshit, but a lot of them are. I'll hold out hope, but it's just crazy how programmed we are. So I can see their point of view, and I think people need to do that more. You need to see what I can see why they're freaked out and why they're saying what they're saying. They just don't understand the consequences of what they're saying. Like, you're advocating for killing billions of people, right? When you're saying this, including you and your family, but they don't want to hear that. So you got to go at it softer. But of course, they'll say like somebody on the other team, which I hate saying teams. I hate putting labels. I don't identify as anything but me, as I try to be that way. I'm a father. I'm a husband, but I don't want to be labeled as you're a conservative or you're a liberal or you're all that's good for is divide and conquer. They just want to put us in a box. And trap us, I just try to keep an open mind, and I do have my my grooves that I've melded into my brain on like the system and how corrupt it is. But sometimes I got to make sure, you know, it's not always that way, even though it seems like it. Sometimes it just seems like everything's a conspiracy, you know, but it can, mathematically, it can't be that way.
Yeah.
You know, so
well, what's good with I actually like that. I mean, calling it conspiracy theories are good, because that's the whole purpose of a theory is you stick it on the wall and you keep throwing stuff at it, and whatever's solid falls down. So it's like, yeah, they're conspiracy theories. Not all of these are true, but let's throw them out. It's just like science. That's what science is.
Yeah.
Theories. Some of them are wrong. Some of them are wrong.
It's so anti-science.
Yeah. It's right. So it's it actually is. Yeah. I love the conspiracy theories. I some of them hold longer. Some of them like at first I'm like, wow, that sounds good. Anytime I hear it, it'll sound real good at first, and then well, no, okay,
you got to investigate.
And then I've got my whole my whole thing. I mean, if you can give me if conspiracy theory and it's compatible with everything else I already understand about the universe, then well, it's in there. It doesn't mean it's proven, but I haven't seen any reason why not to believe it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like gravity is a theory.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Gravity is not a fact.
Yeah.
It's an idea that we're still throwing stuff at.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I just had I made a clip about a tinfoil hat clip with Greg Carlwood from the Higher Side Chats. I don't know if you recognize him, but he's got a great show. Chris turned me on to him too. And they're talking about the Maui fires. And they're speculating, like one guy made a post on Twitter. I forget who he was, but he's somebody in the community. And he said something about how they sent all the kids home. You know, like there was no school that day. So the kids were all at home. Basically, it was like a child sacrifice type thing. You know, like they did it on purpose, you know, and I just responded to
parents are at work and the children
parents are at work, can't get
and,
home.
I mean,
police won't even let them in. They're outside trying to get home to their kids. So like this post was a story about this poor kid, 14-year-old kid, was found holding his family dog, you know, dead.
Oh, God.
And the parents were blockaded from the police, not allowed to come in and get their kid, you know, and which is heartbreaking. So, but anyway, so in this clip, you know, he's talking about that situation, what happened, and how scary and how that could be, you know, real, because it's hard to believe. And I just had to respond to a post of somebody saying, we need to take a breath and grieve for the lives first before any speculation. And I understand that. I get it. You know, yeah, it might be a little too soon. But at the same time, because she's like, we need to get to the real truth. I'm like, well, how do you get to the real truth without speculation, without questions? How do you get to the truth? Are you just waiting for them to feed you the truth? Because that's not going to be the truth. That's going to be what they fed you.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm trying to be tactful when I'm responding. I'm like, we got to ask questions, man. We got to. The reason why a lot of the stuff goes by is because not enough people are asking questions. They just take the fed truth, you know?
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking what happened there. And it's happening all over the place. They're lighting the place, the whole world's on fire, it seems like. Or at least they're focusing on that. And you know, and I just made another clip, and it was almost the same guys, but they're talking about how with all the climate propaganda freaking everybody out, how a lot of these fires are being started by arsonists that are propagandized that, hey, the world's ending, you know, we're killing everything, and it's not happening fast enough for them or something. You know? So they feel compelled, I got to help get our story out there and set things on fire, you know. That's kind of a weird theory, but I can see some people out there going like, we need to wake people up, and the way we wake people up is by burning it down, you know. Then they'll see that climate change is real.
That's when when you get to that point, that's definitely the point. Like that's like free. I think it's important to have open dialogue, free speech, but when it gets to the point that you're willing to do something that's to try to, like, if you believe in something, the truth should hold up on its own. You shouldn't need
Yes,
to do things
it doesn't need you.
to prove it. And then you have to question yourself, maybe that's not the case.
Uh-huh.
That happens with that. Just like, yeah, suppressing information. Like, we have to suppress this because it's not, I mean, censorship and stuff. We're doing it for the good of, I mean, now, I
It's
mean,
always sold that way.
yeah,
It's always sold that
you
way.
got to just let those things.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's
Yeah, and like social media, like I think the internet is, I think it's an all, like at the end of the day, there's a benefit. It's like a positive, net positive when it comes to the internet being a thing now. But I think like social media is like a net negative. It's like one of the negative aspects of having the internet, because it's just such an easy way to manipulate information. Like there's, and it's from all sides and all angles and for all different reasons. But like, even people that are in the truther community or whatever, they're posting like pictures of like basically every female actor is really a man. Like, have you seen those? Like they do like weird jaw drawings, like, oh, her face is shaped like a man, so she's a man in disguise, or whatever. And I'm like, I could see it on a couple things, but when it's like every single one, it's like, do you see it yet? And I'm like, no, I don't. Like you're just pushing bullshit. Like I don't need you. Like, I'll look into it, but I'm only gonna give it so much attention. And then I'm just gonna be like, all right, well, you're just distracting me, or you're trying to feed me bullshit. I don't need it. But I try not to block anybody. I'll just ignore like an adult. For the most part.
Exactly.
I know lately I've been ranting about the blue check, so I gotta check myself on that. But I'm like, I'm not gonna be here very much longer. I might as well kind of burn some bridges a little bit,
So why what I mean, what's the main platform you use? I mean, to send your clips out, or you when you make the clips, you're giving it to the person that bought it and they do whatever they want with it.
Oh no, but so like when I make the clips, I post them myself. Some of them will post them on their channels, but for the most part, I post them myself. And I share them, the files, so they can do whatever they want with them. But I have like 12 different platforms at least. Sometimes some of them go down, and then there's new ones that pop up, and depending on the buzz, like so like I don't even know where I'm gonna go after Twitter. Really, I might just post my clips and not scroll a timeline for news or anything. I might just grab a few memes here and there. And I might just do that. For one, it's going to save me a lot of time and grief, I think. Like I don't need all that information anymore, and if it's going to be co-opted, I don't need to waste my time on it. All the other platforms that I'm on, like there's just not a lot of traffic. So maybe once X turns into the everything app, hopefully people will get off of it. I have my doubts, but maybe they'll flock to one of these other ones that I'm on. They might grow. That's the thing. These other ones, there's just not enough traffic. There's not enough people, or it's like an echo chamber. It's all the same people. They all got kicked off of wherever, and now they're like on Gab. Say for instance, it's Gab's more Christian, conservative people. So you get all the, Trump and, they're all there. But you don't get any of the left leaning type stuff. So you don't hear any of their opinions or what they're talking about. So it's kind of
right now you'd say Twitter, the X is the best place for getting everything. I mean,
I think so. I think because it's like real time almost. It's real people posting what But that gets co-opted a lot. But I really do think it's got them like Instagram probably has more people. Facebook has more people, I'm sure. But Facebook is so censored, and a lot of it is more you're in your little friend groups. Kind of thing. And then like Instagram is mostly like video, pictures, or You know, it's basically mostly, you know, women shaking their ass and titties and, you know, and it's not really good for sharing a lot of information or, you know, because even like leaving comments, just it doesn't seem as natural as like Twitter. You know, you make a post and then everything under it is the response. Whereas like on Instagram, it's like, I can get comments and I can comment on the comments, but it's not. Yeah, I know what you mean. Not going out to everybody else, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I can't, and I think I can reshare things on Instagram, but I think you got to get an app to do it or something like that. Oh, yeah. I just don't want to. But I like Twitter because you can, or X, because you can reshare things. You retweet it. Oh, okay. I posted this 10 hours ago. I'll retweet it so it goes back out. Okay, Even though now I'm finding like in the algorithm that's like bad. You're not supposed to do that. Like you're not supposed to do anything. Like these people are posting posts like, here's how to work the algorithm to get more followers and stuff, you know? And I'll read these posts and they'll be talking about, don't reshare anybody's stuff. Don't reshare your stuff. You know, like don't mingle with low
that's like a Black
credit
Mirror
score accounts, basically. Yeah, like if you're a bad account, don't associate with them. You know, shit like that.
Oh wow, that's like, did you see that?
Or don't
Mirror
post. Don't post links on your top post. You know, make a second post to post a link. I'm trying to get people to watch a podcast. So I'm like, hey, enjoy this clip from Tinfoil Hat. You know, and here's the link because they always want a link. And I'm like, this is convenient for my people that are following me. Here's a link, click it, you know. Oh, but that's bad. They're gonna crush you for doing that.
Oh, for putting
so basically whatever I want to do is wrong.
Yeah.
Which is how this app is supposed to behave.
Yeah. And well, no, I noticed that too. Yeah, that is the purpose. But yeah, obviously the app is not gonna want you to redirect you somewhere else. So there's no way to make. They're never gonna like that anything.
Yeah, I get that. But still, it's like. Yeah. Okay. So there's been times where I'll make the second post and put the link on the second post, but then I feel like I'm being a trained monkey right now. They're training me to not be authentic. Yeah. I gotta play these games, and I've never been that person. I'm never gonna be that person. I don't think. Like especially when I know it's bullshit. Like, okay. All right, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I guess it's my fault that people aren't seeing it, but at least it's getting put out there. And I just wish more people would would support smaller, you know, content creators instead of all these big guys that they're basically being fed the narrative and they're feeding it to you, you know, because once you get big enough, you're co-opted, you're owned. You know? So, and now that with the ad revenue, they're all owned basically. It's like with the media. That's how the mainstream media got co-opted and owned. Yeah, by the government.
They were. Yeah, at some point the free press was. I mean, they were the ones that broke the story on like Vietnam War and stuff. I mean, I don't know who did it, but it was like New York Times or Washington Post. So, I mean, one of the that they broke the story of like, you know. America getting into there and they shouldn't have. I mean, that there was a false flag. I mean, they broke stories that were like, whoa. And then, but then you win that's actually what I'm afraid of too. Is then you win the trust when you can break a story that is real and you should want to know. Then you're like, oh, these people are truth. And then
they're telling me the truth.
Now and
then they got you.
They got you, and now they can slowly or quickly just change it up. And that's I guess what I'm worried about now too is just because somebody's speaking the truth doesn't mean that at some point they won't all, you know, that's how they got the agenda. Either that was, it could have been planned from the beginning that they were in that, or they could have got compromised, or, you know, we don't know, but everything has to be live and reassessed. There's nothing completely, we can't trust anything, you know, as what yesterday is today as well.
And then once they get compromised, they're owned. And you know, but so when you're gonna pay people off to post what you want them to post, but you know, there's I can't trust you anymore. I don't want to sure they're gonna mix in the truth. They're gonna mix in real stories to keep you.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
but then they'll, so
Yeah.
it's tough. Like with anything, it's balance. You know, you take the good, take what you think is good, and leave the rest, and you know, go and try to figure it out. You know, on your own, because that's all we can do.
Yeah, that's for sure.
With the information we're given, we're all going to come up with different ideas, and I think that's great. So we can all talk about it. You know, it just sucks that there's people out there that don't want you to, and you know, they want to stop you from doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, that's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it always has been. I think it's I mean, and the like I said about, I mean, just the fact that it is more in our face, almost is
that's what's good about the internet, though.
Yeah,
I think, because it's like it's instant. For the most part, I mean, I'm sure they're figuring out ways, and they probably do have ways of stopping like information going out. But if you get enough people going like, oh, I just saw this and videotaped it or whatever, and they're sending it out, like, you can't stop everything.
And a perfect example is that in China, because China definitely has, they have a lot. I mean, they have a lot of censorship. I mean, they don't have access to Twitter, Facebook, any of those. They've only got their system, and it's heavily regulated, and they did everything they could. But when that one incident happened with that fire, they couldn't stop it. So no. Luckily, I don't think if something's big enough that the human connection through the internet,
and I feel bad.
I
feel bad for the Canadians, because now they just put a law through to where you can't get news on social media platforms anymore. So any news article or any link like that, it's just like automatically wiped away.
Whoa!
So like basically all you get is like TikTok videos, I would think. Just stupid stuff that doesn't mean anything. You know, there's no real info. Or I'm sure they'll let science stuff in. You know, like whatever's the approved science stuff. But you know, it's like we can't get news. We can only get news from the mainstream,
which is we might as well just call it.
Might as well not even turn it on.
Yes, I mean,
but you still need to know what the hell's going on, and like you said, you can glean a lot of information off the other sources. You know, So I mean, it would suck, but I don't know how much attention I would probably give them, but I would still like to know what's going on. You know. Tough thing. I feel bad for them.
I like this. I like these. It was funny. So I think what got me doing the podcast was really because I just started listening to podcasts, and I'm thinking like this is. I just like listening, and sometimes different ones pop up, interesting things I would never think about listening to, and just interesting things about some farming or permaculture or something. I'm just listening to different things, and so it kind of it made me like, this is so much more valuable. What we're doing right here, I think, is much more valuable than some text. I mean, besides some talking to friends and stuff about something specific, but most of the stuff I do on social media is like not productive, it's not really beneficial to me in any way, but like these just good old-fashioned conversations. Now, of course, they don't have to be a podcast posted. We could just meet up, but I think it makes it a little more fun, and there may be people who can also kind of
find it interesting
in what we have to say. And oh wow, that was a real conversation to listen to. I have one of my friends. I think he's listened to almost every one of mine. That he was on my podcast once. He said, it's kind of refreshing just to hear this conversation, and so I almost feel like it is, in a way, this is a new social media is podcast, and people can just podcast. So rather than short, we got into this short, the TikTok video short, everything's shorter, and instead just having these raw, long. I do make cuts as well, and make some little things to like promote my thing, and I say hey, watch the long video, but like I like to just post this and see if anybody wants to listen to this, they can, and they can join in. And I feel like there's a community, and you're already in like the podcast community on one level. I'm kind of, I'm looking to just get in it. I want to be on other people's podcasts and have them on my podcast. And then eventually though, it'll be the gathering. Like I said, it'll be like, where it's like 2 months here in Thailand, people just come, and it'll actually, because the one thing that would make this better is, you know, in person, you know, some of this live connections, and especially in our, you know, when we're, you know, we'll be older and you know, more the end of our lives, you know, and just, you know, talk about things. So I think this, I have positive feelings about podcasts, communications, and
podcasts are awesome until they mess it up. Yet they haven't. Because it's still, like you said, if you have a microphone, internet connection, or you don't even need a microphone, you got an internet connection and a screen. You know, anybody can post podcasts. You know, and you get an RSS feed, and it goes out everywhere.
Exactly.
You know, and they can't stop it. And hold on a second.
Okay.
I muted it.
All right. But yeah, I was gonna wrap it up anyway. So, but
okay.
But yeah, I mean,
the podcasting's awesome. I'm glad you're doing it. Because I wouldn't even known anything. Like last I heard, you were in Thailand. I had no idea. You know what you were doing. And then when I saw you pop up on Twitter, I was like, awesome. Oh, that's what he's doing. Oh, that's so cool. You know, and then I felt a connection, because I recently became a nomad kind of guy myself, and we got the jungle right down the street. So I kind of feel like, you know, even though we're still on two sides of the world, we're still
literally like, if we're 12 hours apart, we're like as far away as you can get from each other before you start coming back around. And then but yeah, no, I hope to connect. I mean, sometimes things get crazy. I mean, can it get any crazier? I don't know. You know what I mean? Probably. I mean, who knows the next thing? We'll definitely have to talk about the next crazy thing that happens. But I am going to look to get, I'm still kind of looking for my niche and some sort of structure. I definitely like that thing about like a regular thing. So like
the
on
consistency.
Consistency and stuff like that. So I'm still working on it, but right now I'm doing it. This is kind of my way, and being way out in the jungle, away from everybody. It's like I'm
reconnecting.
I am more of an extrovert. My wife is really an introvert. We're out here, and now that I'm, you know, we're raising our son and everything, I've become a little more introvert. Or actually, I've become a lot more introvert than I've ever been. So this, for me, this is my socialization.
Way to
socialize.
I
don't get it
for sure.
Because texting is not socializing enough, or like, you know, commenting. Even my friends on Facebook commenting on their pictures. It's always short, you know, it's short lines. Hey, how are you doing? But you're not really going to go in full depth.
No, and the written text, it's great way to communicate, but it's also a really bad way to communicate. You know, misread things, or the context of what they're saying. It's just not the same. You know, just the face to face. Like this is way better than the text, and then the actual phically face to face is even better than this.
Only way there. When we're living across the world, that we have to. We're lucky to have the internet to be able to do this. Like
I remember watching cartoons when I was little, like the Jetsons and stuff. Like, oh, look, they're just talking on a phone, like on their TV. You know, and that's basically what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, so
just stick with it. Consistency, and I want to try to help you get on some other people's shows, because I think you got a lot of cool things to say. You got a awesome POV on things, and I think a lot of people could relate. And I think you know, I can put your name out to a few people.
I saw you throw something out there too. No, I mean, it's my new endeavor. I'm gonna be doing it, so I'm not in a rush to get huge, but I'm gonna just keep I'm gonna be consistent for sure, just creating stuff, and then
consistent and authentic. And that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
people want. People are tired of the canned fabricated BS, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you said, hey, I'm just going to start the thing rolling. It's going to be recording as soon as it starts.
Yeah.
Because it helps with authenticity, and it does, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
because there's no cut.
Yeah.
We gotta take a take, or
Yeah.
that didn't come out right, you know.
Yeah.
And like you said, yeah, you edit it a little bit, but for the most part, it's the conversation. And I think that's why Joe Rogan did so well. You know, he's doing the 3-hour conversations with people that you normally get maybe 5 minutes on a talk show, you know, and everything's pre-planned and fabricated. You know, all the answers are written for them.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's just unproductive. So
yeah, I won't cut this one at all. I mean, the ones where the actual podcast, I put it on Rumble and Spotify, and then it goes to all these other ones. Yeah, those I put the full one there. Yeah, I don't edit those at all. The only things I edit will be the little teasers to like to get
exactly
to come out. Those are the ones I post on Twitter are like the condensed version. But no, for sure. So but yeah, good, okay. Well,
this was awesome.
It's weird. We've got a lot of different connections on different levels, and it's weird how things happen like that. So we'll stay in touch, and
hell yeah, definitely do this again, and hopefully get you on some other shows, get some people on yours. And I know I got people reaching out to me to do their shows too, so I need to get myself out there more. My wife's talking about turning one of our extra bedrooms into like a meditation room for her, so she can really focus on that. She's going through her own spiritual journey, trying to figure out things, and so I might turn one of the. We got a 4-bedroom here.
Oh yeah,
this is the smallest place we can find. Yeah. So I might put in a mic stand and whatnot, and have a little podcast thing going. You know?
Yeah, I would like that. It's weird. This MacBook is weird. It doesn't. I tried a couple, like, because I know the voices are. I just use. It's got a nice mic. Like the built-in mic is nice, but it doesn't make. It's not compatible with like a. I don't know. I tried a couple different ones. They didn't really work. But I know sometimes when they have the mic, the podcast mic, it does make your voice sound sexy. But.
Yeah. And I have one. I bought a board. You know, that it's a simple little board that it runs through, but now all of a sudden it's not compatible with my, like it needs an update, like a software update on it.
Yeah.
And it's not working. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not using that today. So I guess I'll just use the camera and the mic on the computer. So hopefully it turned out all right.
Yeah. Oh no, they're no, I think so yeah. Good.
Awesome.
See you later. All right, bye.
Yeah. All right. That sounds great, man.
All right.
Till next time.
Yep.